It's time to update our calendars, and thus it's time as well for NFL fans everywhere to gear up for playoff ball or scout future stars. That said, the field is not set in stone, with 2 more spots up for grabs. We predict Week 18 slate and more right here on Coast Knows Ball.
Welcome back to the final week of regular season football in 2025. It's now 2026. How are we doing, boys? We got Baroofi's wonderful, beautiful hair back. We missed it.
Oh yeah,
we know that the fans missed it.
It's wet, but it's there.
That indeed.
It's drippy. That's all we need.
It's literally dripping. You asked me how I'm doing. Actually, doing pretty good, and it is about my hair. Matter of fact, because you see, I've been dating my girlfriend for it's gonna be 5 years in 2026, and I started dating her with long hair, and then maybe a year or so after the relationship, she was like, we got a haircut, whatever the fuck. But she didn't say it like that, right? But I took the hint. I got a little haircut. I see where it went, and I liked it. So I think you guys got to see me maybe with a shorter hair, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe you did. And anyway, and then at one point I was like, what, enough. I'll let it grow out. And yesterday she comes to me and she goes, "Never cut your hair again." So listen, that increased my mood a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, literally drippy.
Look like Charles White.
Fuck you, man.
A 5'6" Hagrid.
Oh wow,
yeah.
I'll take that. Hagrid.
I'll take that.
That would be something.
Is that not a good description for how Charlie looks?
It's pretty fitting.
No, I don't think so. He's just a very he of course, and this is exactly the vibe he wants though. It's an early to mid 2000s skater stoner guy. That's what he's looking for. That loves metal music, and that's exactly what his personality is. So he rocks it, and that's good for him.
That is fair.
But yeah, it is the new year. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season, including Christmas or whatever you celebrate over that holiday.
Yep,
we are all inclusive on this show, except for Raider fans. You guys can go. Bye. Enjoy your first overall pick.
The whole AFC West.
Yeah.
The whole AFC West.
But what's wrong with Raider fans?
Well, they don't have to watch this episode. They have the first overall pick, and they can just go enjoy it and scout their future quarterback. They don't need to watch us anymore. Bye. See you later.
Yeah, sorry. Draft.
Bye, Raider fans. Yeah, bye.
The host of the show is in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm so bold for eliminating fan bases already this early into the show. They'll surely remember this 2 years down the road. Viewers. Yeah, exactly. We actually had a very high amount of Raider fans watching the show. Oh no, fuck.
And they all actually left, of course, because they all actually left.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say, adverse to other years in Week 18, I feel like this is actually a relatively impactful Week 18, all things considered. I feel like most of the time we just get a lot of, okay, this team is resting all their starters, and I feel like we get a lot of seeding involvement with this week compared to most of the years in the past.
Well, so I think what happens a lot of times is, and it happened this year in part, where we forecast, we're 6 weeks out from the end of the season and we forecast, man, Week 18 is going to be a movie, and then of course every time it doesn't quite end up being that way, because really what separates a great team from a good team, or even a great team from an okay team, whatever, is December ball. And all these teams dealing with injuries, all these teams having to play backups, all these teams having to something going wrong in the middle of a game and having to adjust to that. And really only the great teams are able to step up and win games in December because of it. And so you see a team like Dallas that we all talked about were capable of making a run, and they end up winning 1 game in December, and that's it. And that's not good enough to make a run in the NFL, Yep. So, I think there's a lot of truth to that.
I'm still holding on to the Ravens hope.
Yeah. Well, it very well could happen. I mean, they have a lot of momentum right now, especially with how Pittsburgh played against Cleveland, which we'll talk about briefly, and not having DK Metcalf around again for the season finale. So that's a huge deal. Maybe some real head coach implications from that as well, which we talked about last week in my hot take question for those between
That was
those
a very good
teams.
hot take.
But yeah, so I do think that this week is fairly impactful, despite the lack, so to speak, of playoff teams being implied, because 12 of 14 teams have already been figured out. But there's a lot of seeding implication. There are 2 divisions still up for grabs, which is always fun. And all those games that are the most meaningful do have primetime windows, which is also nice.
Yep.
Indeed.
So
And the Chiefs are out of the playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a refreshing playoff picture too. That helps a lot.
Oh, look at that AFC slate of all road winners.
I know, it's pretty crazy, right? And then almost all road winners on the NFC slate too for week. We're talking about week 17 here, as we usually do. We debrief on week 17, talk about some storylines or things that we feel like were the most important to talk about. And yeah, where do you want to kick us off, Jacob?
I'm really thrown off by the fact that it's your predictions and not what actually happened. So can
Oh,
we
is
just
it?
pull up? Yeah.
I don't know why it didn't update. That's what is happening? There we go.
Sorry. I was just seeing the Rams
No.
and Steelers, and I was like, that is not what happened
I'm
at
glad
all.
you
And so,
I'm glad you said something, because I totally did not notice. I would have been like, I would have
and
literally
so
gone to the, oh, look, it's the Rams and the Falcons, and the Rams won. Wait, the Rams didn't win. What are we doing? So
right, because it doesn't make sense that they didn't make that comeback. Like the whole time that I was watching that, actually, so I had my friend Scotty and I had my friend Ashton over, and we were watching this game live. And when the Rams were down, I think it was 17 going into halftime, I was like, Scotty, you need to put $20 on the Rams at plus 600 going into halftime, because we can get free pizza and you can get a tank of gas to go home, because the Rams are just going to pull off the comeback. Like the Falcons are choke artists. Like the Rams are the much better team. Like this is just, it's going to happen. And then in the second half, comebacks ruin. Storm starts happening. Rams make the comeback. They get the lead, and then the Falcons just crawl back and win it. It really shows that Raheem Morris wants that paycheck next year, because he's probably not going to get fired now. And it makes me really happy as a Saints fan, because it's not good for the Falcons. I feel
I
sorry
was
for
I
their
was
fan
on
base.
this guy's ass. I was on this guy's ass the moment I saw him being buddy with the other team after being like shut out
in
with
week
the by your
3,
division rival.
yeah,
I said it then, didn't I? I
yeah, you
said it
did,
then. Okay.
you did.
Okay. All right.
No, that
Just
was a
wanted to make
really
sure.
funny game. I was not going to waste my time watching that, because I was so sure that no matter what, it would come down to week 18, Seattle, San Francisco. The loser's going to get the 6th seed. What the fuck am I looking at on Vitor's screen on Discord? What happened? Is it just
Yo.
Put
me?
in a fish tank. Oh no.
Hold on. Yo, wait. What the fuck? Wait, hold on.
Ruby, you got some explaining to do.
Man, my camera just like fucking died.
Oh no. Did his
You
whole
guys say,
computer die?
no, my
We
computer's
got
fine.
Ruby for 15 minutes, guys.
Yeah. No, but
Dude, my camera.
you
No.
keep fixing that. I'll keep talking. I actually have a question though for you guys about this. I don't know. I don't know how much Jacob sounds like you watched all the game. That Puka Nakua play at the end of the game. Is it just me, or have people now once again found another thing to be collectively delusional on? I want to get your take on this.
Oh no, it's 100% delusion. He doesn't catch the ball. Why are you still tripping about it?
Okay, thank you.
Like,
Because I like on replay,
it
it is
is one of the
obviously a
most clear and
fantastic
obvious
attempt.
non-catches of all time. It is
Yeah,
one of the most obvious not catches that we have seen with replay. We have clear, undisputable, obvious evidence of the ball being in midair and his foot being out of bounds. And there are still people who are like, "Oh my God, he was so close. I should have just given it to him." What?
That's not how that works. Yeah.
Since
yeah.
when have we just bended the rules for your team because cool play? That has never been a thing before. Why are you so fucking stupid? Like, why are you trying to make it an entertainment? It is a fucking sport. He does not catch the ball.
Right. And it's not just Rams fans though. It was a lot of NFL mainstream media and even people that are like Steve Palazzolo, which is he's a big person at PFF, was like, I don't even know how to explain it, but Nakua, the ball, he does not possess the ball, but he does possess the ball. Like he is not touching the ball. The ball is in the air, but he clearly has possession. I'm like, how is a
No, you
PFF
can't
person
possess the ball and not be touching the ball.
how is a person at PFF saying that though? Like
God.
that it's this collective
Dude, we're
delusion. It's
actually at a
so
point in
strange.
2025 where the ball, like catching the ball and having to touch it, is the spectrum. You don't have to do that anymore. It's the spectrum.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very bizarre reaction to what I thought was a very strong, very great attempt at catching the ball.
Also, Puka Nakua is a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of him anymore. Anybody who is, I'm kind of just over it. He has the same Pat McAfee energy where he doesn't even know what he's talking about. He's such a dumbass when he's talking. He is the definition of a blockhead. Because if you listen to this guy's interviews and you watch him, it is clear and obvious why he went in the fifth round. That man has CTE like no other.
Well, and I don't want to get too political or anything like that, but I will say at the very least, when you're hanging out with a guy like Aiden Ross during the NFL season, like there's a kind of a giveaway as to like the kind of person that you might be on the sidelines. And I don't want to cast any kinds of judgments on people like that, but I don't know that stuff like that is a pretty clear indictment in most cases, in my experience.
Yeah. It's really funny that this is the topic at hand because I heard this quote like literally an hour ago, but I was just listening to a short or something, and it was this person reading off a story from Reddit, and the girl was recapping a story, and she was like, once I found out that he was a fan of Belle Delphine, that was kind of just all I needed to know, that I just needed to not associate with that person.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
So it's like the Aiden Ross thing.
yeah. Well, it happens, and we'll see. I assume he will try to. One of two things will happen. He will either attempt to fix his image or reshape his image in some way, or he will embrace that villainous role, similar to what like Jawan Jennings is doing with the 49ers right now. How he gets by Shelby Harris, he gets called a hoe on a presser interview, and then he's kind of
Real.
embracing that villain role at this point on the team, and so there's one of two ways that he can go about that. And I think the NFL needs good villains. That's always a fun thing to have. But and for your own fan base, it's fun to root for your own villain. But it's also not. I will attest to. It's not fun to have to play against other teams' villains.
Right.
But it
Especially
just
when they
adds to the
have
fun of the
the
sport.
best receiving talents in the world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a large part of Puka's production and hot take alert, woo woo woo, sirens going off, blah. A large part of Puka's production is because teams, for some reason,
Manufactured.
yeah, well, yeah, it's manufactured by awful defensive play, awful defensive play.
It's the Travis Kelsey effect.
It really is, man. I don't understand, and I will credit a player when they get open because of something that they do. but I don't feel like I see that much out of Puka Nakua's game where he gets open because of something he really does. There does happen every once in a while. I'm not saying it's impossible for him to separate on his own, but look at his own teammate on the opposite side in Devonte Adams, who has manufactured his own separation for an entire career. And I just
There's a reason why Puka doesn't get red zone targets is because he needs space and he needs to find open holes in the zone, and that is what he's good at.
right. And he can't create it himself is my point. And so you line up with this 13 personnel playbook that Sean McVay's been running all season, and Puka Nacua being a big receiver, tight end type of player, getting to line him up in line sometimes and motion him out into slot. Like, it's it's productive and it's effective, but it's gimmicky. I'll just put it that way, I guess.
I mean, he's a gadget player. I mean, that's part of his design is that he's a gadget guy.
It's a gimmick. I mean, we could have different terms
Gimmick,
for it, but
gadget, same thing. They both ain't nothing but a G thing.
all right, fair enough. Vitor, are you good to go? Are you gonna continue with?
It's coming along. It's coming along.
All right, okay. Just need a quick update. Jacob, anything else you wanted to touch on with this game, with this week, rather?
I was right about the Ravens and Packers. You guys were wrong. Nah, 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 boo boo.
Hey, I will say, I liked how the Packers looked with Malik Willis when he was in, and then he goes down and Clayton Tune comes in, and that's. I mean, also you have to stop Derrick Henry at some point, right? So, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
Derrick Henry
okay.
kind of just did it all for the Ravens. They didn't really have to do much.
Yeah, i.e., I'm okay getting that one wrong because Malik Willis still looked good, and I do believe that he will be starting for a team next year.
I don't think that's a bad take. Other things worth of note, the Bills lost to the Eagles, which kind of took us all by surprise because the Eagles haven't really played good football. But I didn't really watch that game, so I don't know what happened with it. Do you pay much
Well,
attention
the
to it?
defense, the Eagles' defense is excellent. It's a fantastic unit. It has been preventing points and preventing extensive drives all this entire second half of the season, and so that is a really interesting thing to think about and look at when we forecast the postseason. And it really just comes down to whether they'll be able to contain one of these high-powered offenses. We've had a big hang-ups, big concerns with the Buffalo Bills offense all season, all three of us, including myself, who picked them to go to the Super Bowl, and that is still very much in the cards. But
The
um,
Ravens, the Ravens' path to victory is there.
sure. But my point is that like that offense has just kind of been like Josh Allen, go make a play. James Cook, go make a play. We're not going to use Khalil Shakir like a receiver. We're going to use him like I don't even fucking know at this point what they use him like. It's so
Joe
bizarre.
Brady is the offensive coordinator who gets his plays from Madden.
I think Madden could call a better play than Joe Brady, genuinely. But so my point is, look at these offenses
Okay, I'm starting
and
recording.
the offensive production
Back.
that they have played against or in the last few weeks. So they had Buffalo this week, which scored 12 points and basically could not get anything going through the air because they don't have any receivers. Uh, Against Washington, against Josh Johnson and the Commanders, right? Against the Raiders, who they shut out. No shock there. It's the Raiders. The Chargers, they lost. The Bears, they lost. The Cowboys, they lost.
Raiders fans, we did tell you not to stay around.
Look, there's not going to be much that we can say that's going to make you happy.
We can't sugarcoat it. I'm sorry.
But my point is, like, outside of the Raiders game where they scored 31 points, you can't even point to a good offensive game for the Eagles within this stretch of 6 games where they've gone 3-3 and they're kind of limping in. It really has been more of a testament to the defense, and the same thing in this game. I mean, they won this game without completing a pass in the second half. I don't think there is a single other team in the playoff picture that is capable of doing that. And so
Yeah.
you can look at that at two ways. You can look at it as, well, that's not sustainable in the playoffs. I mean, what a playoff team that they're going to go up against is going to not let them complete a pass and they're still going to win? No way. Bullshit. But then at the same time, you can look at it and say, man, that defense really did, even if it came down to the final play,
Some crazy
2-point
shit. Yeah.
conversion that Josh Allen just missed the throw on with
They
an
really
open
found a way
Shakir.
to win while having that much go against them.
Yeah, and it is against the playoff team. It's against the Bills.
It's
So
against the Super Bowl favorite in most people's eyes. Not most people, but a lot of people's eyes.
and I mean,
Yeah.
it's a championship caliber defense at least. If they can get a couple of stops and if the offense can just be on not life support and can actually breathe a couple of drives a game, and particularly in the first half when they can actually, it seems like they're actually capable of doing anything. Like, yeah, who's stopping this Eagles team? And it feels like it's such a heavy, loaded NFC team at the top with the Bears and the Niners and the Seahawks and the Rams. But I mean, again, if the Eagles can make a stop on any of those teams, like there's no telling that they can't knock off one or two of those guys on a path to the Super Bowl again.
Mm-hmm. And let's be real, it's not like the roster isn't built for the playoffs anyways. They have depth at every position.
Yeah. And who knows how much they're saving for the postseason. I'm not expecting their offensive output to match what happened against the Buffalo Bills this week or in the wild card round. Like, I mean, you're just, again, it's not sustainable to not complete a single pass in the second half, but can he complete two passes in the second half? Maybe. Maybe. Depends on the matchup.
The bar is not very high, guys.
No. It's not. Anything else?
Well, I'm glad the Bills lost. How about that?
Yep. Who would you rather
Dolphins.
see win the Super Bowl? The Patriots or the Bills?
I'd rather see the Patriots.
Okay.
Oh, I guess one other thing to mention is Dan Campbell on the hot seat.
No,
No.
because
No.
it's a lot when it's a CEO head coach, it's a lot about the culture and it's a lot about winning. And
Yeah,
I
but the
think
culture is not there right now. It's starting to faint.
well, and I think it's too early to tell it for at least for me. And look, I have had my fair share of criticisms for Dan Campbell this season and in seasons past as well. Way too aggressive on fourth down, and it bit them big time
Yeah.
this year
Too much.
without a
Too
play
much.
caller like Ben Johnson on offense to call those fourth down plays, who has been electric. He's been money with Chicago this year, and it's a big reason why they're the second seed in the playoffs, if not the only, one of the three reasons that that's the case.
Yeah, if you look at how Caleb Williams was playing last year and how he's playing this year, and you aren't looking at Ben Johnson as Jesus Christ, I don't know how. Because the IQ that Caleb is playing with is otherworldly compared to what he was displaying last year.
The growth is
It's night and day.
tremendous. The growth is tremendous. And this is the kind
The
of talent
film
that,
looks like a 4-year separation. It looks like freshman college versus senior in college.
and
That's what it
Yeah, it
genuinely
actually is a
looks
big
like.
gap. Yeah.
this is the kind of talent that like we wanted to be able to tap in with Caleb. And as is usual with the first overall pick, people expected it on the first down of his career, but here it is in year two.
Yeah.
I mean, it took Trevor Lawrence 5 years and a second contract to tap into that this year. And of course people are talking about it now, but it feels like a lot of times people are way too quick to give up on a certain prospect and way too gullible to not, in the case of like a Justin Fields, which we saw in years past.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Big
it's
gap.
really starting to fuel narratives at this point, the time or the clock that we're giving quarterbacks to develop. I mean, it was really apparent in 2018 when the Cardinals moved on from Josh Rosen within a year, and their head coach within a year, which is just insane levels of saying that we were that incompetent and then still keeping your GM. Um, but sorry, I don't even know where I was getting at. But yeah, we're talking about the quarterback clock a lot more now, and it's because of the amount of quarterbacks that we're seeing spray or like blossom with their second team or their second chance.
Mm-hmm. And it's a lot about what our conversation was a couple weeks ago with the quarterback crisis and the ebbs and flows of careers. And, the fact that a team like, I don't know, give me a team, any team, just throw one team out there.
The Jaguars.
Okay, a team like the Jaguars that struggled throughout the entire 2010s to have a franchise quarterback, and there wasn't one there. And they were actually one of the teams that really missed out on having any kind of stability at the position in the 2010s because so many teams were so successful at quarterback in those times. And even then they still had some seasons of success with Blake Bortles in 2016 or 2017 when they made the AFC
2017.
Championship game. But that's basically it. And so now they're entering that kind of peak moment for them with their quarterback play in the 2020s. And again, just an ebbs and flows of the quarterback position. And more teams in this decade are going to be able to figure out their quarterback problems, and that will sprout into what should be a very fruitful 2030s, late 2020s, early 2030s as an era.
Hmm. Except for the 9 lead Vikings.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Sure.
That will be something. I mean, that's just going to be a very interesting story the entire off season, whether they
We
elect to go another year or whether they,
are
do
the
take a
Vikings the
gamble.
number one team for Hard Knocks next year?
Oh, they might be close. Who else would, I mean,
Honestly, the Chiefs might be fun for Hard Knocks.
Chiefs would probably be fun, but they did the Hard Knocks in season, didn't they? Who did the in season? Oh, was that the
Oh, that I
Bills?
don't know. I thought was it the Bills?
Who did Hard Knocks in season? Let's see. I think it was the Bills, actually. Yeah, the Bills did. Yeah, so maybe the Chiefs can. I think the Vikings would probably be up there. I think um, it would be. I don't think it would be weird. I think the Titans could be a fascinating piece as well. A rookie head coach. Is he in over his head? Is he not? First overall pick that nobody really talks about. They can get to know him better. But will the marketing team see it as the NFL fan base will get to know him better, or as they don't know who he is, they're not even going to tune in. There's that risk.
Hmm.
So that could be an intriguing one. Um, I
Are
mean, the
you wanting to say anything
Steelers.
about your Niners taking care of business against the Bears?
I mean, not really
Purdy looks
much.
like he would be MVP if he was healthy all year.
Yeah, it's kind of looking like that. Just a play elevator at this point. I like you can. Yeah, there's always that worry, I guess, in the back pocket that a 3 interception Panthers game can show back up, but what name one gunslinger quarterback in NFL history that hasn't had a collection of games like that under their resume. I mean, look at like obviously the biggest example is Brett Favre, who finished his career, didn't he, with more interceptions than touchdowns? So at least he leads the NFL in career interceptions at the very least, if
Yeah.
I'm incorrect about the first stat. But like there was a time, and we talked about this too a couple weeks ago. There was a time when in the NFL when MVP winners and the best quarterbacks in the NFL threw for 10, 12, 15 interceptions in a season. And the reason we're seeing
That's
more
been
mistake-free
pretty much the
football,
last 10 years outside of Aaron Rodgers.
yeah, and the reason we're seeing
Consistency.
more mistake-free football now is because teams are being risk averse. The teams are not taking shots downfield. It's about small chunk yardage. It's about time of possession, and of course, the NFL's always been about time of possession.
It's about making less
But
mistakes than your opponent.
yes, it's about being risk averse, and ironically, the way to be more risk averse is actually by minimizing the amount of plays. You're less likely to commit a penalty or commit a turnover when you only have a 7 play drive versus a 20 play drive. And obviously,
Yeah.
20 plays is exaggerating, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To execute 7 plays perfectly versus 15 plays perfectly every single drive. I mean, and that's why you see the offenses that are the most successful with their 7 play drives, and then they can get a 15 play drive to ice the cake and to finish off the game and whatever. Those are the teams that are the most successful in the NFL, and the Niners are one of those teams this year. But yeah, you're
And
right.
this
Brock
is
Purdy,
why,
go ahead.
sorry, this is why defenses are the side of the football that tends to win championships because they are what's consistent. Offenses will go out there and have bad days, and you can never really predict them, but defenses will almost always play the same way they played all year. It is rare for a defense to be week to week with how they play.
Yeah, you're totally right about that. And that's why when there is a blown coverage, when there is a gaping hole for no reason, you're as an offense, you need to take advantage of that. And the 49ers right now are maybe the most adept at doing so, at least over the past 3 weeks here in December. And if they can continue that track, I don't see what's stopping them in the playoffs. Of course, at this rate, they have to score 40 points to win. And I hope that's not the case in the playoffs because I don't know how much that this can actually be a thing for how
I don't know
long,
if
how
there's
many
an
Sustainability.
weeks in a
offense I
row.
would pick over your guys' right now. When Purdy is playing in rhythm off schedule, he it's 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 so beautiful. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just because it's like and I'm gonna pull a Chris Collinsworth here, but I'm gonna it's gonna be backhanded. It's like watching Patrick Mahomes without all the bullshit. That's what it is. It's really genuinely like watching Patrick Mahomes without the bullshit. He isn't gonna make all your diving throws and bullshit like that. That's like okay, cool. It's gonna be on ESPN top 10, whatever. It's the completion. Uh, he's gonna do that in rhythm and or sorry, not okay. Let me reset. He's gonna do the shit that Patrick Mahomes does, where he's off schedule on his back foot, making the play to his receiver against the sideline for the first down on third down when you really need it in the fourth quarter, because he is clutch, and it's just beautiful to watch. He's the most fun quarterback to watch in the NFL right now. I'm a huge fan of him.
Well, and for some reason, he still has the underdog mantra attached to his name as well. And I think that that makes him either more fun to watch for those of us that believe he is a good player because we actually watch the game of football that's right in front of us, or the people that are detractors that use that against him. And I think it's very weird that a player on his second contract that's getting paid big money, and obviously for good reason, he's showing that over the last month why he's getting paid these kinds of dollars. But it's just so weird that this draft pick thing still holds so much weight over so many people when they talk about the position or just the NFL in
I have no
general,
room
any
to
position.
Any position.
I have no room to talk. I've been obsessed with the first round
And that
quarterback.
also goes both ways, you know. Like when a guy is clearly a bust, but like a former first round pick
Yeah,
signs with a random team, yeah, the first thing the report says, "Oh, the former first round pick signs." You know that guy is washed. If that's what they have to say about the guy, you know he's washed as hell.
yeah, you're
Dude, I
totally
think it's
right.
so funny how fast the Penix switch up was for people. The Michael Penix switch up going into this year versus how it played out is so funny to me because JJ McCarthy, the switch up is like obvious, clear as day. But nobody else is talking about how Michael Penix was being talked about preseason and how the Falcons were going to be the team to beat in the NFC South and this and that with
Based on
Bijan and
3 games
Drake.
last
And
season.
yeah, when we saw 3 games of Penix last year, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, this guy's going to go out there. He's the guy. And then we realize, okay, well, the 3 game sample size, he's probably just as good as Kirk Cousins.
And here Kirk Cousins is winning games at the end of the season that they probably would have been winning
Right.
all season
Yeah,
if he was the starter instead. It's crazy. It's really actually
That draft pick
hilarious.
is still one of the funniest things in the history of the NFL draft.
That
Like,
that whole debacle, both the contract and the draft pick, they work in tandem with each other. It's hilarious.
it is so funny. Thank you, Falcons. We appreciate it.
Yeah, well, the first meme for them was a decade ago, and so now here we are again, full circle.
So happy we could be here. We ready to get our 18 picks in?
yeah.
Well, we can power rank before
Oh,
that.
Yep,
I
yep.
do have special tiers this week for the final week of the season. Season over theming here. So our S tier as usual: superheroes, supervillains, super cursed, Super Bowl. Nobody got super cursed last week, so that's fun. For those teams, not for us. And then for our A tier is able, ready, and willing instead of ready, willing, and able because I needed
Let's
to
be
make it
real. The
Okay.
only
work.
reason there wasn't a super cursed team is because the Rams have flopped so much in the second half. We can't even put them in S tier.
Yeah, that's a good point. Uh B tier, brace yourself, or bougie, as we've always called them.
Yeah.
That's pretty self-explanatory, I think. And then C tier, could you spare some sympathy? Perfectly
For the
mid
Steelers
teams.
fans who are going to cry themselves to another winning playoff list season.
Yeah, exactly. And then our D
Yeah.
tier is don't remind me. And then F tier, finally over. We can just move on.
Well, what if maybe D should be draft season?
Well, I feel like that applies to both D and F, so I didn't want to
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
That's fair. But yeah, that's pretty good.
I like them all.
Don't remind me.
But here we go. So I'll just start throwing teams up, and you guys can tell me if you disagree with any placements. Saints up there, more like that probably. Jets down at the bottom, Giants down at the
Yep.
bottom, Raiders at the very bottom. Maybe the Titans are lower, like that at this point.
The Saints being above the
Falcons.
Chiefs is so iconic.
I mean, like you have an argument that they're the best team in the NFC South right now. Like genuinely, it's pretty funny.
We're definitely above the Falcons. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Falcons honestly need to be below the Titans. Oh, we know they just beat the Rams. God
no,
damn it!
they're good
What the
right there.
fuck?
Cardinals, and then the Panthers, Bucks, and C tier, as well as the Steelers and Ravens, because these are the last four teams fighting for 2 playoff spots. Am I missing anyone? Vikings, Bengals. Just throwing
Browns?
teams in here. Browns. Thank you for reminding me. Even though they won, they beat the Steelers.
Yeah, there you
The Lions. This is a long ass D tier. The Colts, the Cowboys.
Can we just throw the Chiefs in F tier?
Yeah. I think it's time. Maybe the Titans belong back down there again. I will say,
Let's be real. The Chiefs are playing like the worst team in football. Like the Raiders have a chance of winning this game this week.
they do, but I don't think they will because they're already sitting starters for the Giants, like Max Crosby, who left the building super early in the week. So they're going to be doing the same thing again, and uh, yeah. So I don't
That's fair.
expect the Raiders to win that, though. That would be really funny because then the Giants would get the first overall pick again. I actually think some of these teams, though, even though this is the C tier has kind of been symbolic the last couple weeks for the teams that aren't yet eliminated, they're fighting for a spot still. But I think
go.
some teams maybe do deserve our sympathy a little bit, like the Colts. Their season got totally derailed by a couple injuries, even if it was trending down.
The Colts got what I had last year, but to the extreme.
Yeah.
Because mine was only like a 2-week tease. This was like they were 7-1.
8-2, yeah.
They were 7-1, and this
They
was
had
Unbelievable.
they had like a 98% chance of making it at one point this season. And how full circle is it that I said with Daniel Jones they had an 8-9 ceiling, and here we are.
Oh
Even though it's
my
not him
gosh.
finishing the year, they're gonna finish with an 8-9 record.
He just wanted to get all the wins
Poetic
out of the way
justice.
early in the year so he could take off the rest of the year.
Yeah, you can have a long vacation.
He really played his way into a $40 million contract again and then out of it within 14 games.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Only DJ.
the Lions as well deserve to have a little bit of sympathy because they've dealt with a ton of injuries, especially in the secondary. And the exodus of two coordinators is really brutal, and we've seen that in years past, like with the Eagles after their first Super Bowl, and the one they lost against the Chiefs, they lost both coordinators, and they were, they started hot and then really, really played awful down the stretch, and were one and done in the playoffs. So I think you can't. It's the Lions are not in an enviable position right now, and so I think that could be could you spare some sympathy. But if you guys disagree,
I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
Eh,
any
I don't
any
feel sympathy for Lions fans.
any other
They
team,
talk so much shit, dude, and they still back Kirby Joseph.
yeah,
Maybe
well,
Bengals in empathy just because of the injuries, but I mean I don't think so. Just because of how terribly managed the team is, and I think they got what they deserve, to be honest.
yeah,
At
and
least the management.
that's my exact argument is just how incompetent the front office and the
Okay,
coaching
so
staff
we're in the
is.
same. So we're in the same place. Okay,
Which team?
The
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 Bengals.
Bengals.
It's like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
no,
you got
they
messed up with the
definitely
injuries, but you
been
kind of
involved.
deserve it. That's how you manage your team.
Yeah.
They have played. They have played GM so arrogantly when it comes to not prioritizing O line and not prioritizing defense that at some point the consequences of your stupidity are going to catch up with you.
Hmm.
It's poor roster building, and we've said it from the ground up. Their foundation is not there, and it will crumble when this talent can't be carried by one elite quarterback.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I
I
think
couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
yeah. Well, I think we're done there with our C tiers. So now it's just time to rank our playoff teams. Last week we had the Seahawks and the Jaguars up in S. I don't imagine there's any reason to change that. They both won their games. They're not super cursed. So we should probably keep those guys up there unless you guys completely
Although the
object.
Seahawks were flirting with a loss.
They were for a little bit, but they took care of business in the end. I have real concerns about Darnold again. He was super clutch at the end of that game against the Rams, but he did
They
have
won't win
two.
in the playoffs because of Darnold.
And I think the first round bye will be super important for them to get. And not necessarily the home field advantage, but just be the ability to play one less playoff game than everyone else, I think will be really crucial to Darnold in particular. But it's a very young team, not too much playoff experience with this current roster. Of course, it's an organization with a lot of playoff experience in the last decade or two. But yeah, it'll be interesting to watch for sure. And
Right.
I think the game against the 49ers will be a really nice temperature check for both teams going in. And, the winner, of course, being a lot having a lot better momentum with that first round bye. And I think we had the 49ers number 3 last week. No reason to change that, I don't think.
No, no reason
You,
at all.
I, you want to talk about something real quick, and if Georgia loses to Ole Miss, it'll be even more fucking insane. Yeah, Georgia lost to Ole Miss. What the fuck? Okay. Uh, Indiana is the only team to win a college football playoff game since the 12-team playoff with the first round bye. The teams with the first round bye are now 1-7 in first round bye games or in
that's
games off of the first round bye.
that's fascinating.
But Indiana just won by 35, so I don't know if that just kind of like
I think it just comes down to um, preparation and whether you've been around or not. And Indiana's a weird example to give when
yeah, but
I
it
say
can't
that,
be like that though because
but I
Kirby
think it
Smart and
can.
Georgia just lost to Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin.
No, I get that, and I get that's why I said that Indiana being the one winner of that makes it sound weird. But I think college football feels a lot flukier in the playoffs than the NFL does in that regard. Sometimes the very expected team ends up winning, and we've seen that a couple times just in the last few years.
TCU and Georgia.
Right. Uh, but I think in the NFL, every year we see it, and it speaks a lot to obviously coaching advantages, but it speaks a lot to preparation and rest. And that's why so many teams do, if they have a playoff spot already and seating's not on the line, they do rest their starters. And even teams with seating on the line. I mean, look at the Chargers. They could basically pick who they want to play in the wild card weekend, and they're just like, no, we'll rest our starters. We'll put Trey Lance out there against the Broncos and see what happens. And so that way they can be rested and prepared for whoever it is, but they're not going to have any control over it anymore unless they still win the game, I guess. But yeah, so
Fair.
I don't know. I see what you're trying to get at, but I just think that the two leagues are just very, very different in how organizations, how teams, how coaches, how players all approach it.
Oh, they're definitely different. I was just more so trying to ask what your thoughts on why it is, which I guess you answered with there's a lot more chaos in college football, which is clear
Yeah.
as day.
Yes. That basic. Yeah. TLDR. College football crazier in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay. How do we want to get the rest of these teams down here? Number 4 last week was Chicago for us. And then it was followed up by Denver, Houston, New England, Los Angeles, and Buffalo, all in the A
Well,
tier.
LA should go down a little bit, right?
I don't know if they should go
Maybe just
down.
bottom of
LA
A.
is
Maybe
They're
just
still at
bottom
the
of
bottom.
A.
Yeah, they would still belong at the bottom of A, and I probably still agree with that.
they're
Uh,
still they're the worst team in the NFC outside of the Packers in the playoffs. Well, outside of the NFC South, obviously.
Man, even even though I was talking up the Eagles at the beginning of the show, I still would take the Rams over the Eagles as well. But the Niners,
I
Seahawks, or
don't know if I would
Bears,
right
I
now.
think I think
I
those
wouldn't.
three teams are all better.
I personally wouldn't.
I think the Eagles should be above the Rams right now. They're coming off a win against the Bills. The Rams are coming off of a loss against the Falcons. That should probably put them above the Rams.
Well, let's see. They were in the middle of B tier last week. So do
Yeah,
we
but
think
the
like
Rams
toward
just
the
lost to
bottom
a
of
team that was
A?
in F tier, though,
No, I get you. D tier, but yeah,
or D tier.
I get you. And it's not a good loss by any
And that's the
means.
second time the Rams have done. Well, I guess the Panthers aren't that bad, but the Panthers
Well,
was
the
a
Panthers are going
really
to be
bad
division
loss.
champions. No,
Maybe
that's fine.
that's a win.
I'm fine with them being ahead. I just don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one. Tough call. I hope they play each other first round so we can find out. Bills,
Mm-hmm.
meanwhile, I think brace yourself. You lost again. The offense, and they could be saving stuff, and I do have faith in a guy like Josh Allen and a guy like James Cook, but this coaching staff is just abhorrent. They're not healthy.
Dude, the way that you describe shit, I just love it.
I I try to mix it up. I don't want to use the same words over and over again. So yeah, I will pull out an abhorrent every once in a while.
Hey, I fuck with that porn, it keeps it fresh.
Yep.
Exactly. Yes, that's what we keep it fresh here at Costo's Ball. All right, please, someone else take the floor for a minute.
Dude, okay, so these Broncos, I just don't know what to do with them because this Jaguars loss has me thinking they they're gonna for sure lose first round, but they're probably still gonna get a favorable matchup unless they get the Texans, and then I think they just lose. Can we look at playoff odds and see where they're
What
gonna
is
be
this
at?
tier? Huh? I want to see what this tier is.
Good,
Good.
but can't win the Super Bowl. Can't make
There we
head or
go.
ass up. Yes, Broncos. Thank you.
Yeah, that's tier for the Broncos.
All I know is they're not going to the Super Bowl. That's all I know. They're just not.
Hmm.
They're not a Super Bowl team.
But man,
Yeah, I still haven't left the boat.
the problem is if their first round bye, that removes an entire game, and all they need to do is win this week, and they're the first round bye. And like, is it that unrealistic
Yeah,
that they
but
can
even if they
win?
have a first round bye, that doesn't really do much for me.
Okay, that's fair. I'm just
Sometimes it's
thinking.
a debate.
Because, like, if
So,
we're looking at playoff outcomes, I think they play the Texans. I think they're gonna draw the Texans. Because
and if they do, that's brutal. That is brutal. That's maybe the worst straw that they can get.
they're either gonna get the Texans Bills, or Ravens. Those are the only teams that they can possibly get.
So let's see. I'm just gonna put
Is
my predictions real quick here, so we can go to the playoff prediction here, so we can just talk about it. Yeah, that looks good. So they'd have the first round bye, of course, in this scenario, and let's say let's say the Texans win, and let's say all the away teams win, because why not? That would
Okay.
draw them the Chargers. That's a good draw, in my
Yeah, but that's
opinion.
not going to happen.
No, I'm
The
not
Chargers are
saying that
not going to
is.
beat the Patriots. That's why I said
So
realistically they can only play against the Bills, Ravens, or Texans because I like.
So in this scenario where the Patriots do win, they would draw the Bills. I don't think that's a good draw.
I think they lose to the Bills, Ravens, and Texans. That's why I'm saying I think they're first round out.
Yeah,
I know you
maybe.
guys would pick them over the Ravens, but
No.
realistically,
I
the
think,
Texans are going to beat the
man,
Ravens
you know
anyway.
what? As far as power ranking, honestly, no, it would probably be Buffalo, Baltimore, Houston as far as draw. I think Buffalo would actually be the best draw for them. Not that it's a good draw, but it's the best draw. I don't
I
know.
agree with that. I think the Broncos are pretty, or the Ravens are probably the weakest team right now out of those three.
No,
I
I think they're
agree.
the weakest, but do I think that Denver will be able to stop what I just watched against Green Bay on Saturday?
I guess that's fair. I don't think that Denver's defense is putting shit on Derrick Henry.
That's my point. I don't know. I think the Buffalo Baltimore draw is very close.
It's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah. But for real, where where are they going? I guess
Right
just
there.
ahead of
Yeah.
Philly.
Sure.
Yeah, probably. They have the head-to-head there, so it makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
And then we can slot in the Texans at the top of A tier because this is the team that I think is. We can't put them above the Jags because the Jags haven't lost, but this is the team to beat in the AFC. 5 seed is coming out of the AFC, and I think the Texans are winning it all.
They are the team that I'm most afraid of right now. That defense, it feels like it's the only defense in the current playoff picture that is capable of winning a championship on their own. And
Yeah.
that is super frightening. Um, is it enough to move the 49ers down a spot though? It's up to you
What?
guys.
I guess not. They just need to be the second highest AFC team. That's all I care about.
I'm fine with that.
I'll have the Niners above, but yeah, them right there.
And then Patriots, I think are they're very Bears-esque. It's a very similar
I
team
would
if you
put them
really think
above the
about it.
Bears right now because they're coming off a win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
fair.
Bears. I
But
agree.
they're very similar if you think about it. You know, second year quarterback, very
Oh, I
talented,
agree.
breakout seasons, first year head coach. You know, one team runs the ball super effectively, the other team passes the ball super effectively and is like passable at the other thing in the offense. The defenses, you know, they have a few stars layer throughout, but it's not a spectacular unit. Yeah, really fascinating team constructions, and it's very cool that they're right next to each other here.
Yeah. Green Bay is the definition of bougie, no?
Oh yeah, 100%. Brace yourself. I mean, the current draw that they'd get is Chicago. I think that might be the best possible draw that they could get. It's either them or Philadelphia. I mean, maybe not. Maybe you guys disagree, but Green Bay very nearly swept Chicago this year, and it took really insane clutch and lucky stuff for
Realistically, a
Chicago to win
divisional
that game.
matchup is always going to be the best option for Green Bay just because the rest of the playoffs are going to be favorites against them pretty heavily, and it's going to need some fuckery for them to move on,
Hmm.
especially without Love and Willis, with both of them out.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think they're probably the weakest team.
And
mean,
as shitty as I think the Chargers are, I also think the Chargers could probably beat anybody. I don't think there's anyone the
I
Chargers
was just
can't
about to say
beat.
that they can still play with anybody.
the defense is really, really good. And I've said this for a few weeks now. I think the defense is capable of keeping them within any game. It just comes down to the pass protection is a big part. I think not abandoning the run is a big part. We've seen in multiple occasions this season, even when things are going really well, they abandon the run for no reason. It's really strange the lack of Vidal usage after Hampton has come back. I don't like that. I think he's shown that he's a plenty
You
talented
should
back
be
on his own.
complimenting him too.
Yeah, be mix things up. Don't be stale. And one of the criticisms I had of the offense earlier in the year when Hampton was out was that it was way too reliant on Keenan Allen for third downs. And then once that started getting exposed and figured out and they started losing games, then they started to actually throw to Lad McConkey more and they incorporated the rookie tight end and Ronnie Gadsden. So now, like, if they could figure out just how to balance that offense a little bit between all the pass catchers and the rushing attack and just give Herbert some time, I think this could be a really potent team and to your point can beat anyone. It's just about if they can do it 4 times. And I don't know if
Right.
that's
And
possible.
I will say their biggest struggle is going to be the O line. It's
Yes.
110% going to be the O line because the health that they're struggling with is at their two best players. If we're being honest, Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, are the two best players on this team,
Mm-hmm.
and so having them both out is going to tremendously affect how they can function in the playoffs. And
Yeah,
so it's
Joe
really
also
going to come
got
up
votes
to
for the Pro Bowl.
they're
Yeah.
they're going to have to run wide receiver screens and running back screens very effectively, and they're going to have to pass short downs or sorry, pass like in front of the chains in order to supplement their run game because this O
Mm-hmm.
line isn't going to be able to hang in the playoffs, especially against the Texans again. And we saw that.
Yeah. And that said, they still had opportunities to win that game. You know,
Mhm.
that's how wide open this picture's going to be. All right. Well,
Mhm.
that's our tier list. I'm just going to go and reread our tiers here real quick. In our S tier, we've got the Seattle Seahawks and the Jacksonville Jaguars once again. In our A tier, we've got the 49ers, the Texans, the Patriots, the Bears, the Broncos, the Eagles, and the Rams. In our B tier, we've got the Chargers, the Bills, and the Packers. In our C tier, we've got the Ravens, the Steelers, the Panthers, the Buccaneers, the Colts, and the Lions. In our D tier, we've got the Cowboys, the Saints, the Falcons, the Cardinals, the Vikings, the Bengals, and the Dolphins. And then in our F tier, we've got the Titans, the Commanders, the Chiefs, the Browns, the Giants, Jets, and Raiders.
Raiders at the very bottom is so fitting.
So fitting.
They're the number one pick right now, so it makes sense.
Well, yeah, I mean they're the number one pick because their organization fucking sucks.
Yes.
Just,
Hey,
just
Raider
needs
fans,
to
we
slow
told
I
you
down.
to
don't
leave.
know. I don't know how the NFL doesn't punish them for tanking. Like it's actually
I don't know
ridiculous.
why you guys are shitting on the Raiders so much today. They are not that bad of a fan base.
Well, oh, okay. Well, no, the fan base does suck.
I'm not even talking
Gotta
about the
be
fan base. I'm
honest
talking
with
about the fucking
you.
front office. Like there's no way it doesn't get punished.
It's so funny that you say this a lot, or Anthony, because I have two friends that are fucking, or I have a friend group that has a Raiders fan, a Chiefs fan, and a Broncos fan. And so this whole podcast is just us hating on them.
Look, okay, it's funny. Like I do think generally the Raiders fan base sucks, but I mentioned the Raiders earlier, not knowing which team I was going to mention. I just threw a team out there, and they just happened to be the team that had the first overall pick, so it fit perfectly. I literally just named a team off the top of my head. So
Got lucky.
anyway, as we transition to the week 18 slate here, I do have what's at stake for every team in every game, and I thought that would be fun to just talk about before we give our takes for each game this week. And well, oh yeah, no,
What's the
all of them are
highest
on here.
pick that my team can achieve?
The highest pick,
Yeah.
I didn't write that down. I think it's well, we can look. I've got it right in front of me. We can look. if the week goes how I expected, you would have the 8th overall pick. So I imagine that is the
Fucking
highest
lovely. We
possible.
somehow got a worse pick than last year.
That would be the highest possible in this scenario because the next team, the Commanders with 7, would be 4-13 record. So that's your best possible odds. Is this happening right here? Me going 16-0 this week in week 18.
How
Okay,
confident?
I'm pretty confident. I like my picks this week.
Okay.
But here we go. Starting first, Indianapolis versus Houston. Here's what's at stake for this game. Houston earns the 5th seed with a win, just straight up, but can win the division and secure a 3rd seed with a win and if Jacksonville loses to Tennessee. What do we got?
The Texans are definitely not going to get the division, and it's not going to matter. They're going to walk into the AFC West winning home, or sorry, the AFC North winning home, and probably put belt to ass.
Yeah, they put belt to ass on the Ravens earlier in the year.
Take 2.
The Jaguars playing for the division, they're gonna beat Tennessee. So fortunate for the Texans, but the Jaguars winning this game. Texans are winning, but they're gonna be 5th.
Okay. Well, yeah. So we all have the Texans winning, and that makes plenty of sense on its own. And since we're talking about the other one, I do believe the Jaguars are not going to rest starters. I mean, we'll see how out of hand the game gets. But
Maybe a few.
It
Yeah.
wouldn't make sense to. You need to win the game in order to secure your seeding. Why would
Right.
you rest starters?
Yeah,
Especially
you
against
need
a team that's clearly been playing with passion lately.
Yeah, you really want to host a playoff game or two, being the 3 seed. So you need to make that happen. A loss there would be catastrophic, honestly, and they'd probably end
A
up
loss
first round
there
exits.
would be to the same level of the Carson Wentz Indianapolis Colts loss to the Tennessee Titans.
Could see it. All right. That said, so, excuse me. I'll just talk about the other one real quick because we talked about it. Jacksonville earns a 1st seed with a win and with a New England and Denver loss. They earned a 2nd seed with a win and a New England loss, and they earned a wild card spot with a loss and a Houston win. So those are all the scenarios for Jacksonville. Of course, they currently possess the 3rd seed, so if they win and the other teams win, nothing happens. If they lose and the other teams lose, nothing happens.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the 1 seed is still in play for them, although they need some help. Browns
They
and
don't see the Dolphins doing anything this week, unfortunately.
probably not, but the Browns and Bengals, there is something at stake in this game, even if it
Also,
might not
I
sound
just
like
want
it.
to say it makes so much fucking sense that I would say Baker Mayfield would play good against a Texas quarterback, and then the fucking Quinn Ewers actually turns out to play decent for once, even though he just played like hot dog shit last week.
He's my
against the
franchise
worst-
quarterback. And speaking of franchise quarterbacks, you're not drafting one.
That would
Okay?
happen to me.
Hey man,
Tyler Shuck is your franchise quarterback, and you're gonna like it.
Baker's lost the sauce. I don't know if he can cook anymore, man. It's looking grim over there.
It's pretty fucking bad.
But we'll get to that soon. First up, Cleveland earns a top 5 draft pick with a loss and either a win from Arizona, Tennessee, or either New York team.
The fact that Cleveland doesn't have a top 5 draft pick secured is genuinely hilarious.
It's pretty funny. And imagine if they win and Shador Sanders is the reason that they don't have a top 5 pick because he wins against the Steelers and Bengals to end the season.
I will say it's also extremely funny that Tyler Shuck is going to be the offensive rookie of the year after getting so much hate in the draft.
Yeah. Oh man, I keep seeing that one Eagles fan girl.
Yeah, you
that
took him over Shador
yes, I
Sanders.
keep seeing that video and it's so fucking funny. And as someone who is not very high on Shuck, obviously very high ceiling, very low floor. but
I
he's
was high
played
on him when we
well.
took him, but I just don't want him to be my franchise guy.
But the point is, he's played well, and it's funny that is like he does have definitely a case, especially in a down year for offensive rookies. He definitely has a big case for offensive rookie of the year, and Shador Sanders does not. And I just keep
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah,
that video. It's
yeah.
so funny. But
Well,
No,
the
I'm.
betting odds are between him and Ted. So
yeah, that makes sense.
honestly speaking, if let's be real, if the Bucks win and the Saints, or sorry, if the Bucks and Saints both win, does it really matter how those two play? If the going out is okay, Shuck is going out on a 5-game win streak and the Panthers miss playoffs, Shuck probably gets it.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. Does that make
Oh,
the Saints a playoff team next year with how bad the NFC South looks?
they're definitely better than people think.
The Saints can be can be a playoff team pretty much immediately because their offense is already built. Like,
Hmm.
and that's another thing that people are not really looking at with Tyler Shuck is this O line has been built with first round picks for the last 4 years, and you have a first round receiver in Olave who's been playing like a top 10 receiver. You need a running back. Okay, you have a $13 million tight end, so it's not like Juwan Johnson isn't someone who should be starting in the NFL.
Hmm.
Um,
And he shows up.
and yeah, and the defense is playing well now. And calling any team that has Brandon Staley on the coaching staff a playoff team is really dangerous.
Yeah,
But in that NFC South, yes, I do think they probably are a playoff team with Tyler Shuck next year as their starting quarterback.
crazy to
I think
think
it's
that.
valid.
All right.
Just going back to the Browns game. I hope Garrett breaks a record here.
Yeah, it would be nice, but at the same time, like, then I just wish he did it against Rodgers because now we have to
Yeah,
be
no, me
like,
too. Me too.
oh, asterisk, 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 extra week, extra week. He didn't get it in 17, and
Yeah, you're right.
it's
Yeah.
so
Did he
stupid.
tie
And
it or is he one underneath it right
he
now?
needs one to win. He's half a sack off.
That's brutal.
And he, I don't know if you guys saw the interview though last week, but he felt like the Steelers were more interested in preventing him from getting that sack than actually winning the game based on the protections that they were calling against Garrett specifically. And I thought that was extra
I
fascinating
like
too
they were
because
paying money for that,
of
right?
course TJ
That
Watt
is such a
is
Steelers
tied for the
division rival thing to do for the AFC North. I love that.
but like I mean is it not? Is it unbelievable? Like the Steel TJ Watt has the record or
No,
tied for
that's
the
what I'm saying.
record.
That's not. I believe that. I
Yeah.
100% believe that.
Okay. Yeah.
All
It's pretty funny.
right.
Anyway, yeah, let's move on. The Chiefs and Raiders, very simple. Vegas
I
seals
mean,
the number one seed
simply
with a
because the
loss.
Raiders want to lose. They put in so much effort to lose against the Giants, so they'll be just fine against the Raiders or against the Chiefs. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, the Raiders against the Raiders.
Yeah, yeah, yep. That would have been perfect. Who wins that game, Vitor?
To the Raiders.
I think the universe might implode on itself if that happened.
Yeah, maybe the Oakland Raiders, huh?
Anthony,
They call the
I'm
stadium
pretty
a
sure
black
the
hole, don't
only.
they?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's the starting quarterback for the Vikings this week? Is it Brock? Is it Max?
It might be. Is it? I thought McCarthy was practicing. Vikings starting quarterback this week. QB this week.
It's gonna be Google AI, and it's gonna be wrong.
JJ McCarthy is expected to start, according to Google AI. Packers start Clayton Tune. Undetermined. JJ McCarthy is progressing. That's 3 days ago, according to Minnesota Vikings. Clears concussion protocol. That was a long time ago. See what I mean? 4 weeks ago. What? I'm looking at news. This is olds. This is olds. Give me news. Dolphins hire Troy Aikman.
Well, I was gonna bring that up eventually.
For what?
A
Consultant to
consultant.
help select the next general manager. Interesting. Anyway, back to
Funny,
topic.
Aikman's like, you're gonna give me $1 million to do what? All right.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty interesting, but we can talk about it later.
Yeah. So I don't know. Status, I guess, is up in the air for the Vikings quarterback. That said, I think they'll win because Clayton Tune is the quarterback for the Packers, and not that he's like a, not that he's Max Brosmer, I guess I should say, but they also don't have a run game. Josh Jacobs looks bad and banged up, and the O line is bad, and the defense is bad, and this is obviously the worst team
What
going
is the
into the
Packers playing
playoffs
for?
outside of nothing. They have the 7th seed locked up, and that's it.
Oh, so yeah, I'm going Minnesota then.
Funny enough, I think that this is the most inconsequential game of the slate, and yet it involves a playoff team. It's crazy. Nothing changes really in this game.
Okay.
The Vikings with a win, they go up like 3 spots in the draft order. That's it. Or down rather.
But they really
with a
want to
win.
not win.
I don't know, like 3 spots in the middle of the first round. I don't know. Would you rather see your team play well and know who to give a next
that's
contract
actually,
to?
no, because that's huge though, because that could be the difference between like getting Mekhi Lemon and like getting a fucking offensive guard.
Yeah, but the Vikings aren't
I'm a
struggling at
really big
receiver.
Mekhi Lemon guy.
I know. Every time you get a chance, you bring him up. I can't wait to watch his tape and glaze him as well. Okay. What's next? I'm just going to go down my list here. It's a lot easier that way. Jets and Bills. Buffalo earns the 7th seed with a loss, or with a win if LA and Houston also win. They earn a 6th seed with a win and a Houston or LA loss, so only one of those two teams has to lose. They earn a 5th seed with a win and a Houston and LA both lose. So those are the seeding opportunities for Buffalo. Only wild card from there on out, but it could determine, it could be a big deal based on who they play in the first round. Obviously, those opponents, based on this, could be the Ravens, the Jaguars, or the Patriots, or the Steelers, or the Broncos.
Interesting.
But yeah, so I've got the Bills, even with Miss Trubisky.
Yeah,
This
fuck the Jets.
shouldn't be a
Also, fuck the
contest.
Bills, but yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, this is a
not
Bills
particularly
win
close.
written all over it. Honestly, there are very few picks that I don't agree with you on, and it's pretty much just I'm taking the Bucks.
Well, I certainly disagree with Anthony on the next game here, Dolphins against Patriots.
Well, you know what? Hold on real quick. I do actually want to say, I think this obviously is a Bills win, and it would be kind of embarrassing, even with starters resting and whatever, because I don't know if Josh Allen's going to play with him being banged up and whatever. But it would be something for the Jets to win, and then the Bills are locked into the 7th seed, and they just kind of are okay with that. I could see that happening actually, and then the Jets hurt their draft stock. Yeah, maybe I could see that being the realistic result of that one.
Okay,
We'll see.
Fair.
We'll see.
I mean, would you rather play the Patriots or Jags? That's a real question.
The Patriots.
I don't know.
Jags are complete.
I don't know.
It's a tough one. It's a really tough one.
I don't know if I would say the Jags are more complete. I would say that the Patriots have more potential. I'd rather face Trevor Lawrence than Drake May if I'm a defensive coordinator.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, that I agree with.
I don't know. This playoff is going to be a lot of fun. I don't know what to tell you.
Since we touched on the Dolphins,
yeah, that's the next team up on my list as well.
I wanted to mention Aikman real quick.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, they just hired him as a consultant to find the next GM. And some people are saying that this means McDaniel is gone, and I don't really see the link. Maybe Aikman likes McDaniel and wants a GM that can work with him. Like we can't really know for sure. And that's what that means. I don't see the link, at least.
Well, maybe it could lead to a McDaniel firing. Or
it could lead to it. It could lead to it, sure. But if Aikman is assisting Ross in finding the next GM, which is really good, by the way, because this is the first time Ross is actually listening to advice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe that's more about people grasping at straws than anything. But
Probably, but regardless, I think it's certainly a decent idea. I think to maybe get some outside perspective,
hmm
especially from a guy who's highly respected in the area.
hmm
So I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Ross does with it.
yeah, 100%. Um, my notes for this one though: New England earns the first seed with a win and a Denver loss. They earn a second seed with a win and with a Denver win, and then they earn the third seed with a loss and a Jacksonville win. So, one seed up at play. That's their range there, 1 to 3. They currently possess the 2 seed, and if every team wins, like I said, they seal up the 2 and they play the 7. So yeah, I think they'll
Is it
be.
good to have the Patriots back?
No, the fuck.
um, I think right now they're in a fun team sphere, and that's a good thing. You know, they have an exciting young quarterback. They have a coach that's well liked throughout the league. You know, they've got other guys around the roster that are easy to root for, like a Christian Gonzalez or a Travion Henderson. But just
Yeah, but
having
the
a
fans are
brand
insufferable.
around, yeah, I don't know if the brand necessarily is a welcome return. I guess I'd prefer them over the Chiefs right now as a brand.
Oh, 100%. Without a doubt. Although I was thinking about it earlier and I was like, if I saw a picture of Mahomes for 2018, I probably wouldn't hate the guy.
No,
Like,
I don't think you
like
hate
if
the
I
guy
see a
right
picture,
now. I think you hate the
no, I don't think
Chiefs.
I hate the guy, but I just like God, I can't fucking stand that guy. Like that kind of feeling. You know what I mean?
Okay. You know, I
No, you don't get that at all.
no, because
Okay.
I was just talking about this with some friends the other day, and I have a very deep respect for Patrick Mahomes himself, the person, the player. Like earlier in the year when they were really struggling, I thought he was the one person, and of course that fizzled out toward the down the stretch, and he started playing worse and whatever. But early in the year, like he was the one team person that was like keeping this team being a functional unit. I
Yeah,
thought,
but
and
then the MVP narratives were still being shoved down our throat. Like
yeah, but you can't
it just gets
blame.
exhausting.
Yeah, I'm not blaming the him for that. I blame the media
No, but
for
you
that.
can't blame him for the sourpuss behavior, the crybaby shit, like when he lost to Josh Allen in the playoffs and then he immediately went and blamed the refs. Like, get over yourself.
Well, he hasn't lost to Josh Allen in the playoffs, but I get what you're
Not in the
saying.
playoffs, but in the
But
fucking
I
regular season.
see
He lost to Josh Allen. He
I
immediately
see that
who's
way
the
more.
pass.
I see that way more with his teammates, like Travis Kelsey, who I do not like, you know, and so I don't know.
Well, Travis Kelsey is just a bad guy. Like
But that's kind of my point.
that's a person.
You see what I mean though? Like I understand it's easier to dislike him because of his
Hmm.
association, but I'm not looking at him as like he's the guy doing this, he's the leader, you know. No, not necessarily.
I don't know, man. I think if you saw that post game of him just complaining about the refs like a crybaby, you would probably be like, okay, this guy just needs to fucking stop. Because
I
he does
I
it
s-
all the time.
I saw the game. I watched all that stuff happen, and it's not
It's
okay,
pretty
but
bad.
I don't
Yeah.
hate him for it or, you know, say that stuff. I still have a very deep respect for how he plays the game.
I don't.
And you don't have
You're
to.
Okay.
cheap. You try and
Okay.
try and get cheap hits out of bounds. You try and slide late. You play the game like scum. I don't respect that.
You don't have to. I don't know why this is a debate right now.
Because you brought it up.
I didn't bring it up. You asked me if I hated Mahomes, and because you're like, if you look
No,
at a
that is not
picture,
at all how
you
that
said
started.
if you look at a picture from 2018 Mahomes, would you feel the same way that I do? Yes, that's how it
No,
started.
that's not at all how that. No, you need a. No, we're calling a replay on this. That is not at all what happened. No, I was bringing up what I was talking about with Mahomes, how I think in 2018, I wouldn't have disliked him, and then now it's I can't fucking stand this guy, and then you brought up that you had this debate recently, and that's what you got you talking. I never
No,
asked
I
you,
never said I
motherfucker.
had a debate recently. I said I was talking about
Yes.
recently.
Oh, Broofy, no, you need to back me up on
I
this,
did not
Broofy.
say
I need
debate.
you to
I did
back me
not
on
say
this.
debate, Jacob. I said debate to you because I don't know why this is turning into a
Okay,
debate. This is
you might not
weird.
have said debate. You literally said you were talking with somebody recently.
I said
So-
yes. I said I was talking with
Yeah,
some
he
friends
said
recently,
talking with
and
friends recently.
I said that my conclusion was that I have a very deep respect for him, but I don't hate him because you said that
I
you
never
hated
said.
or
I
couldn't
never
stand
asked
him.
you if you hate him. I never asked you if you hate him.
What you just okay, let's move on because I don't even understand. This is stupid. This is just stupid. Okay. Let's see what's next.
Yeah, Troy Aikman.
Yes. So we all picked New England, right? They're playing for
No.
the 1 seed, so I don't imagine. I mean, they'll look up at the score at halftime and see what's going on between Denver and Los Angeles and determine if they're going to rest guys in the second half. But I don't, I think they're
No,
playing
because
for
they're
the
gonna be
1
losing
seed.
by 20 by then.
Well,
They're
maybe,
gonna lose by 20. Yeah.
maybe. Okay, next up, this is a big one. This is Sunday Night Football, the season finale, regular season finale. Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. The winner, of course, wins the AFC North and the number 4 seed.
Baltimore. No fear.
Yeah, Baltimore by.
No fear.
Yep, I've got Baltimore as well. Man, if they lose, if the Steelers win, I honestly like either way it
Mike Tomlin
happens.
getting another winning season going to the playoffs is actually my last straw for the season. It's actually it.
And they'd be one and done in the playoffs, if they made it. And he gets a pass every year for it. It's
In
just
which
so
case,
funny.
maybe your hot take should have been maybe both get fired, huh? How about that?
I just don't think that happens. I think if Baltimore wins this game, then they'll look at, oh my God, look at this adversity, and they come back and make the postseason, and now Lamar is ready to go for the playoffs, whatever. And so that's not going to happen, especially if they win. If the Steelers win, I just don't know, because there's adversity late in the season. Aaron Rodgers wasn't healthy all year, even though he only missed 1 game. The defense wasn't very good, but here they are. I just don't see either of them winning if they get fired or getting fired if they win this game.
Okay.
Now we're on to the NFC side. We got Arizona versus the Rams. This actually does have some implications. So the Rams cannot win the NFC West anymore, but they secure a 5th or 6th seed with a win. They already have it secured anyway, but they, ideally they win the game. But it's the 5th seed if San Francisco loses the game against Seattle. But the 6th seed if Seattle loses, and that's because of a common opponent's advantage tiebreaker that they have between those games. Regardless, they secure a 6th seed with a loss, so they can do better. They can get a 5th seed with a San Francisco loss, and they win. What do we think?
Yeah, Rams should take care of business here. The Cardinals are playing like
Very
they
poo-poo.
don't care.
Yeah.
They have no fire in their gut.
No fire. You
fire.
did it before me, you bitch. Yeah, no fire in their gut.
No fire. Okay.
Did you take the bus this morning?
No.
Did you drive here?
I haven't left the house this morning.
Fuck yeah.
What's the opposite of caliente? That's what the
Frio.
Cardinals are.
Yeah, they're cold.
All right. Next up, Seattle versus San Francisco. Game with a 1 seed on the line. Saturday Night Football on ESPN. The winner earns the 1st seed in the NFC. Seattle earns 5th seed with a loss. San Francisco earns 6th seed with a loss and with a Rams win. A 5th seed with a loss and a Rams loss. So, obviously not crazy things at stake here, but the 1 seed is very meaningful. So it's definitely going to be a fun one on prime time.
Your prophecy comes true. They never play a game away.
It might happen.
Yep.
It really might happen.
Yep. Well, I'm signing below.
Thank you very much. We appreciate.
Niners are going to take care of business. I got them taking this game.
Let's fucking
I think
go.
the Seahawks are going to be the first round out as well.
I don't know. That
Unless
would
they
be
get the NFC. If they get the NFC South, obviously.
so.
Never
In this
mind.
model, yeah, they
They're
would get the
guaranteed the
fifth
5
seed.
seed.
Yeah,
Okay, then yeah, they'll lose in the second round.
they're either 1 or 5.
Yeah, they're going to lose in the second round for sure.
Okay. Next up, Green Bay, Minnesota. Like I said, arguably the most meaningless game. Green Bay already has the 7th seed, no matter what, and Minnesota picks in the middle, no matter what. It's really just a swing of like 3 picks if they lose or win. And I think we all said we have Minnesota.
Yeah. Green Bay's already in. Minnesota's gonna play against a rival for sure.
Now that the fucking 17 has been around for a while, it's not really being talked about anymore. But this is another case on the NFC side of things where it's like, why the fuck do we need to watch the 7 seed play the 2 seed?
Yeah, the only example actually, at least the first example that there was that justified
Was
it
the
was actually the
Packers beating
Packers, beating the
Cowboys?
Cowboys 2 years ago. But outside of that, it's just been more revenue for the NFL. That's it, basically.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe this year is another year because it's wide open. Maybe the AFC side in particular. Next up,
Yeah.
Detroit versus Chicago. Chicago secures the 2nd seed with a win and earns 3rd seed with a loss and with a Philadelphia win. So there's a little bit at stake here for Chicago. Not much, of course, with Detroit. It's it's a middle to middle pick, depending on win or loss. But Chicago, I think maybe ideally wants the 2 seed if they want to play Green Bay again, but maybe they don't. Maybe they look at this game and they're like, man, we almost we almost lost to them twice. We got really lucky, and maybe we can rest some starters. I don't know how banged up they are, though. I know they have some secondary injuries, but maybe they rest guys and take the 3 seed and take a risk on a LA Rams or San Francisco team, in a rematch from a couple weeks ago, and that maybe they think that they have better odds against those teams. I'm not sure, but I want to know you guys' thoughts.
This Lions team is playing uninspired football too. It's honestly playing really defeated football, and the loss last week to the Vikings just kind of showed that. I don't see them at all coming over the Bears, especially because the Bears are playing with the intent of getting the 1st seed.
Yeah, so for that reason, I also picked the Bears. This Lions team kind of reminds me of that Eagles team when they went to the Super Bowl and lost the coordinators. In the following year, they sucked. It's exactly this with Lions. So I think Campbell, kind of like what you asked earlier, Jacob, about the hot seat, he's going to be given an off season to get the coordinator situation right.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, but this game, no, the Bears.
Okay.
That's fair. I don't hate giving him an off season. I just don't think that he's shown a lot on his own.
Mm-hmm. Next up, New Orleans versus Atlanta. This one's actually fairly interesting. Mostly meaningless, and it is entirely for the Saints and the Falcons, as only draft seeding can get better for them. But the result does impact the game for the division more than anything. If Carolina wins against Tampa, doesn't matter. Carolina wins the division. But if Tampa wins, Tampa also needs Atlanta to lose. If Atlanta
Wow.
wins, Carolina, it doesn't matter what happens in the game. Carolina automatically wins the division. Now, of course, we'll know the
So
results.
you were wrong. So Carolina can make the playoffs with a losing record.
Yeah,
Or they
because
already have
I
a winning
because I
record.
didn't expect the Falcons to beat the Rams. That was a big surprise, and so that was the
I guess
one.
that's fair.
Yeah, that
Well, the
was
Bucks are not going to make the playoffs, but the Panthers will be in with the losing record.
so.
Yep, there you go.
But fun, the fun part, I guess, maybe is if the NFL wants to script some drama, they'll have the Buccaneers win this game between Tampa and Carolina, so that way they can get people to watch the Saints and Falcons on Sunday. But
Is it afterwards?
yeah,
Is that an afternoon game?
Carolina Tampa is Saturday afternoon, and this is Sunday morning.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully the Bucks pull it off on Saturday. I got them winning.
I've got Carolina. They can't seem to put 2 solid weeks together in a row. which is very concerning, especially going into the playoffs. They feel like a one and done team, but
which is why we're picking them.
the Buccaneers can't
Yeah,
put
guarantee,
a
under guarantee.
single week of good football together in the
Yeah, what I
last
saw against
3
Miami was
months.
horrid.
And this is
Outpouring.
actually, this would be the week that the Panthers turn it on. 2 weeks ago they beat the Bucks. Last week they lost to the Seahawks. This week they play the Bucks again, and so I do have the Panthers in this one. Again, not sure it's going to matter because, but it kind of does. We'll see what happens in the Saints Falcons game, which we can talk about right now as well.
Yeah, I just think the Saints take care of business, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, Tyler Shut goes crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he's been going crazy all year,
he
apparently, according to
has.
every
He has.
fucking beat writer
Even
ever.
even with Noah
My
Olave, I
fucking
honestly,
entire friend group. Tyler
yeah,
Shuck is Jesus Christ, according to all my friends who want me to believe in Tyler Shuck.
yeah, indeed.
So in your model,
He,
then the Buccaneers make the playoffs.
No. Well, no, because I have the Saints winning.
Yeah, that would mean the Buccaneers win.
Buccaneers win, Saints win, Falcon, or that puts Panthers in, right?
Nope, that puts the Buccaneers in. The Buccaneers need
How
the
does that?
Falcons to lose.
Oh, okay. Then
It's
never mind. The
it's
Buccaneers are going to be
very
in the playoffs.
weird. It's very weird. The reason is because of is it oh, now I'm blanking on it, the reason why, but it's a very weird reason. The
Is it
Falcons win
opponent
against the
win loss?
Saints is it's it's either the division records or it'll be the strength of victory, something like that. It's very bizarre, but it favors Carolina um, if Atlanta wins.
Interesting.
No, it must be the strength of victory because Carolina swept Atlanta, but they got swept by New Orleans. That would make a lot of sense.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
next up, we have two more to talk about. Dallas and New York Giants. The Giants can earn the second overall pick with a loss, but they could earn the first overall pick with a loss and a Vegas win over the Chiefs. Of course, they can get a even worse draft pick than that if with a win, but I don't imagine they'll be beating the Dallas Cowboys, even if it was a very close match the first time around.
I can't find the game for some reason. Wow.
Right here in the middle of the.
Okay. All right. Well, the Giants are actually going to play to win this. I think I at least I saw from some plays against the Raiders that this roster is actually trying to win games. They have a name to prove, I guess, and so does the Giant coaching staff. So don't really trust the Cowboys, and it's just such a Cowboys game to lose. It's such a Cowboys game to lose. I'll go with the Giants.
Wow.
I'm going with the Cowboys here. They're just a far better team.
I think this is I think this could be a really big game for Dallas, believe it or not. I don't know who's going to play, but I would imagine a fair amount of starters will play because, they obviously have had a lot of new additions in the offseason and at the trade deadline, and they really need to figure out like what players they want to keep around that are going to be free agents. Like, are they going to be the ones to extend George Pickens? And a game, a meaningless game and can show a little bit if they show some effort out there. We'll see though. I don't know. But if you're a player like George
I
Pickens, you can
mean,
look
if
at the
they
game
don't
and
go for George Pickens after the season that he's had, it'd be insane.
It would be hilarious though.
I don't know. We'll see. But what I was going to say though, if you're George Pickens as well, are you willing to play in a meaningless game? That could hurt your
Yeah.
value if you get injured. So there's that too to think about.
If your name is George Pickens, you're probably not willing to. But if I was in
Yeah.
George Pickens' shoes, yes, I would.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I see what you're saying. All right, last but not least, maybe least, Philadelphia earns the third seed with a win over the Commanders, and then plus a Chicago win, but they can earn the second seed with a win, and if Chicago loses. And of course, they maintain a third seed if they lose the game outright. Going against Josh Johnson
I
again.
think Garrett. I think. Wait, is Josh Johnson starting?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Rip.
Yep. According to Google
Yeah,
AI.
I mean, well, Eagles are definitely taking care of business here. I think the
Eagles.
Lions and Bears game can be somewhat interesting if the Lions actually show some level of passion, but I just think that they have too many tickets to Cancun already.
No, fair enough.
Interesting quote. Interesting
Like, their
quote. Yeah.
mindset is off of football right now. I don't think that the Lions are that focused. So I don't see the Eagles going in there and getting the second seed after this weekend.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe the result doesn't matter at all, and this could be another case where I was talking about with the Patriots potentially resting starters at halftime, even if it's not a big lead or anything. This could be a similar case with the Eagles. If the Bears are up big, it could be we could be seeing a lot of Tanner McKee in that second half. Who knows?
How exciting.
Could be.
Could be.
Hey,
That's their
man.
future quarterback.
We could see
Yeah,
some
yeah,
high
man.
quality football in the second half, is what I just heard.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah,
Football.
it'll be like Patrick Mahomes in week 17 of the
Oh, yeah,
2017
there you
season. Coming in for
Yes.
Alex Smith, yeah.
Way to get your Chris Collinsworth moment in there.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
If
here's
this
a
was
guy.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Now here's a guy. This is what we're sort of used to seeing out of Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes.
In
Mahomes.
in a year that has been defined by stars making mistakes. Oh, don't go there.
It was actually kind of funny. He was self-aware about it for the first time ever, I think, uh, in that game. And Mike Tirico was also calling him out for it. It was pretty funny that moment.
Yeah, and he was like, maybe it'll be different next year. Like, no, I won't.
Right. All right. Well, Jacob, you want to give us our coastal call?
Yeah, I mean, another long episode, I think.
No,
Sorry, I can't. No?
we're ending with good time. Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, I was looking at your time. Never mind. My bad. I was an hour behind. Okay, sorry. Anyways, I just want to thank everybody so much. If you made it this far into the episode, we all greatly appreciate it. Watch time is huge for YouTube's algorithm. So if you've made it this far, it shows that you've been interested and you continue to enjoy our content. And we're just super appreciative of all that. So please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below on what you think we got right this week's Pick'ems. And yeah, this has been Coastal Ball.
See you guys.
Goated.